Hooray! We're
Hello!
back with more Delta Green funness. This is Actual Play UK. My name is John. Usually I'm with Trolls of the Two Ton Bridges and in the background of Actual Play UK. But today I'm in front of you doing greeny Delta things. Thank you very much once again for joining us. We are incredibly proud and loving of everybody that comes to this particular channel and says hello. Say hi in the chat. Do all of those things because we are live. We do try and interact with people. It's always nice. Obviously, we are now affiliate as well, so you can subscribe. Woo! You know how to subscribe. There's a subscribe button. Press the subscribe button, especially if you have things like, I don't know, Amazon, things like that. So, today we are playing more Delta Green. This is episode 2 in our delightful, happy-go-lucky episode of Viscid, which is written by Dennis Detwiller, an excellent artist and a writer of horrendous things. And you can get it on Arc Dream Publishing, which is on Drive-Thru RPG. We are just about to drop the first episode on YouTube as well. Regardless of all of the small technical details, hopefully we won't have technical issues today. It's going so well so far, touch wood. Let's get around to actually saying hello and welcome to my lovely cast. The people that bring light to my otherwise incredibly dark soul. Let's start with Simon. Simon, how are you, my friend?
I am doing well today, sir.
So what podcast or stream or magnificent, I don't know, one-man band on a corner of a street are you with?
I need to try the latter one. That sounds interesting. No, I'm from Chaotic Neutral Games, a online community with various games that we play. We haven't got anything going on at the moment, but you can find our various campaigns on YouTube or Twitch under Chaotic Neutral Games.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Adam, I see you.
I see you too, John.
I see you.
Staring at me from over there.
What podcast is that you be with?
What podcast is that I be with? I be with ye old Gunpowder, Treason, no plot.
Welcome. Sorry, please. I mean, rather than all of the laughter over what you were saying, let's at least give you a chance.
Sorry, bud.
Okay, I'll go again.
Okay, right. Adam.
Take two.
Reset. Yeah.
Countdown. 3, 2, 1. I am from the wonderfully dark and macabre world of Gunpowder, Treason, no plot, a cosmic horror-themed D&D homebrew podcast where lots of horrible things happen to people. So check it out. Pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, if you're here and you know what Delta Green is, then you would probably enjoy it.
Yep.
Lots of nodding. Pip, let's swing round to you, sir.
Wow.
Let's see.
God. I've literally just opened fucking Twitch on my phone.
And I'm just hearing myself laughing at you.
Just looping you. Sorry, that was deeply professional.
Honestly,
and if you enjoy that level of professionalism, if you enjoy a much higher level of professionalism, you can come and find me at Realms of Peril and Glory at RealmsPod or realmspod.com, which is unsurprisingly an actual play podcast that I am one of the main cast members of. And at the moment, we are on Monday we'll be releasing our 5th and final episode of a little 5-ep cyborg campaign. That's the Cyberpunk hack of Merkborg, which we've played on this stream, which I've run on this stream. And I'm running it on the podcast, and I'm very proud of it. And if you want to catch up, you've got the weekend. So 4 episodes to listen to. They're probably 45 to 50 minutes long, and then the last one's coming out on Monday. So do that because it's good, and I'm proud of it.
It's good shit, as they say.
They do say that.
They do.
I've heard them.
Let's actually. I'm going to do this as an amalgamation here, right? Both Nick and Natalia and myself, we're all part of the Trolls of
Are
the
we
Two
going to
Pronged
do one
Bridges.
word each?
Okay.
We are from that.
Okay. So Nick,
Trolls.
Natalia,
Of.
John, the
2.
Tonne.
Fuck, guys.
Bridges. Oh, this is gold.
I thought
TV.
Yeah, all over the internet.
I thought mine was bad, but Jesus.
Oh.
If you think we hadn't practiced, then you'd be right.
If this is the
I'm
kind
pretty
of
sure we just
gold-
lost 3 viewers.
I think so. I think so. Most of them are. Okay, so yes, in case you didn't understand what was going on there, we are part of the Trolls of the Two Pronged Bridges, which is an actual play podcast, actually going through the Tomb of
It'd
Annihilation.
be nice if it's actual pay, but it's
No,
not.
it
It's just
wouldn't-
actual play.
it's just yes. I'd very much like actual pay.
Yeah.
But yes, we will soon be releasing what amounts to the prequels of Delta Green. But today, we shall be going into Delta Green as a what's 6 people? It's not sextant, is it?
Sextet
Is
or
it sextant? Anyway,
Sextet, I think. Yes.
I'm going to ask you guys a question. Now, I okay, since I actually got into Delta Green, which was probably about 3 years ago now, it feels like, I have read almost everything to do with it. I have voraciously just kind of consumed all manner of the fiction, the world, all of this kind of stuff. And it's led me to kind of go on a journey, as it were, to find other things that might, I don't know, influence me and serve as some inspiration to treat other people to the kind of horrors that Delta Green has. Now, I'm just wondering if you've got any good recommendations for me of things that I could go out and find, like weird fiction and police procedural stuff which is a bit weird, or anything like that. Let's go with Nick. Nick, please enlighten me.
I am currently watching on Netflix brand new Cherry Flavour, which
I've heard that's
is
good. I have heard that's
very good, very bizarre, very disturbing, and very enjoyable. I really like it. I'm also reading a book which not so much along the same time period, but it's a book called The Beast of Nightfall Lodge by S.A. Sidor, S-I-D-O-R. It's a turn of the 20th century Cthulhu-esque investigative horror.
Ooh,
So yeah,
intriguing.
it is.
Okay. Now, I'm gonna switch things up again. Simon, hit me, baby.
Mine is a little bit different. It's from a different system because I'm deliberately not touching any Delta Green, so I can be pleasantly surprised or unpleasantly surprised in a pleasant way, if you get me, for the Delta Green content. However, I am currently reading Legionnaire by Kat Stark. It's a Lancer fan-led module, and it's about AIs that have reached the level of godhood and paracausal existential physics going weird and cause and effects not matching each other. So very much an existential dread where when you thought you had a grip on reality, suddenly it throws you a curveball.
Interesting. Cool. Awesome. Natalia, have you got anything up your sleeve that I didn't know about?
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything specific other than I've just finished reading a book by Gillian McAllister, I think her name is, called Wrong Place, Wrong Time. That's weirdy, twisty, it timey-wimey, crazy weirdness
Liking it.
that happens in that. Sorry?
Liking it.
Yep.
Good.
Otherwise, not that long ago, watched Yellow Jackets on one of the TV streaming
Now
services,
something.
one of them.
Yes.
That's very good. And a little bit weird. It's not quite Cthulhu level weird, but it's
No. It certainly touches into that kind of what the hell's going on kind of aesthetic, though, doesn't it? Which and it's cool. Totally recommend it as well.
Yeah, it's
Actually,
really
it's really good.
Thank you for taking on my bit there, John.
Hey, we're chatting here. We're chatting. This is a conversation. Pip, let's converse.
Okay. Do you want to do one word at a time, or
No, I think we've been down that road. We know it doesn't work.
Never again.
Again, I don't know if it doesn't necessarily fit into the remit that you gave at the beginning of this, but I sense that doesn't matter.
No, not really. Not really. Do whatever you
I
like,
recently finished my a campaign I've been running, my home game of playing with 5e, which I'm very happy to be playing, but also happy to be moving on from to other things. Hey, guess what? Other tabletop role-playing games exist. We are Hit Me Up, Wizards of the Coast, and we're about to my next thing is Deadlands. I'm going to be running some Deadlands. I love me some Deadlands. I love me some Weird West. So and there are some touchstone-y things that I often return to when I'm about to run certain games, and there's one particular movie which I do come back to quite often with regards to Deadlands. That's a movie called Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, that's awesome.
I really want to watch that, actually.
It's really awesome.
It's real slow and quiet, and then extremely grim and unpleasant. But like all the performances are fantastic. The script is really good, and it's sort of it's a masterclass in sort of building tension without resorting to sort of jump scary things, doing the spooky music, or any of the other things. It's just like everything is just kind of presented to you on the screen, and you see it, and you're like, yeah, that's bad. Yeah. I'm upset. It's great. It's a really unsettling but really wonderful movie, I think.
There's just this whole feeling of overwhelming dread as they trek through the desert, isn't there? It's just
towards
really
something probably quite bad, and it's great. Really well worth a watch if you don't mind horror movies, I guess. Like if you're scared of gore and spooky things, then I would not recommend
maybe
it.
avoid.
But it's very good.
Very.
Okay. Adam, you in the corner. I see you.
Me. That's you in the corner?
It is. Is this your religion?
Always watching.
So.
No, I was trying to think what I've been reading or watching recently that's kind of weird fiction. I was thinking a little while ago I finished a book called Lovecraft's Monsters, which is a collection of short stories written by like modern horror writers.
Yeah.
That do a bunch of almost like follow-ups to like classic Lovecraft stories. So you've got one that's like, what if the Elder Things returned to Earth with like armies of Shoggoths and stuff and just basically took over? Or like what happened, funnily enough, like Delta Green, what happened after Innsmouth, like when the police raided, what became of that? Which I thought was a really cool idea just for a collection of short stories. So if you've not read any sort of cosmic horror, it's quite a good little introduction to the concept.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, I find it interesting actually the whole kind of Lovecraft oeuvre, however you pronounce it, it's kind of is spread out quite a bit. There's so many different authors who have they've almost done their own vibe. They've done their own stories on that. You know, you got Neil Gaiman, you got August Derleth, you got so many different people.
Charles Stross.
Yeah, exactly.
The Laundry is just incredible.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I really like those books.
Again, very like I wouldn't necessarily put it into the same universe as something like Delta Green, but there are so many things that kind of tie in. It's a lot more kind of obviously comedy and stuff about the I guess pen pushing and the boring side of being a spy. But for myself, I'll be very brief. The thing that recently I have actually thought this is really, really, really good. It's a podcast that is it's an audio drama called Malevolent. If you haven't listened to it, it's excellent. It's one guy doing the entire thing. He does all of the voices throughout, and it is pretty much without giving anything away as such. It is set in I think like the 20s, and he's an investigator, and he loses his sight and the use of his right hand, and there's an entity which goes into him, so he becomes part of a kind of gestalt being, and the gestalt being can see through his eyes, so he's explaining everything that he can see. So within a podcast environment,
sure.
it's you're not dealing with that whole kind of he's just on a tape recorder, he's doing this. Then they have conversations and stuff, and it's a masterclass in ups and downs, in kind of horror and torment that this guy goes through. Absolutely 100% recommend it. Go check it out. It's Malevolent. Anyway.
So you were saying it was going to be brief.
I mean, that's brief for me. Another content warning. We should always make sure that this is at the forefront of everything that we do, because not only do I just talk a lot of shit, there is also body horror and death. There is existential dread, if you haven't grasped that already. Although this happens in real places, it is fiction. I think, as we established prior last week, it's not my diary. It is.
Can we change the name of this show to Delta Green? It's not my diary.
It's not my diary. Yeah, I think so. So, obviously, and content warning for the horror of my accent. Let me just get into this very briefly. Delta Green is not about guns. Delta Green is not about a bug hunt. Delta Green is not about understanding. Delta Green is about the end. The end of everything, your family, everyone you know, your country, all life on Earth. It's about the end of everything and your place in it. Because you will end too. That's what the fear is about, and that is what the game is about. It's not about winning, and it's not about advancement, and it's not about the best weapon or most clever plan. Delta Green is about the end of everything, and how much of it that you will live to see. Welcome to Delta Green. Thank you.
I do love that intro. It's very cool.
This the coolest
so
shit.
good. Yeah.
Just a moment for the coolest shit.
It is.
2 days ago, 60-year-old retired geneticist Tybalt Greaves was found lying dead outside his Cornwall house. His face was mutilated and his tongue missing. Inside the home, Greaves' 24-year-old girlfriend was also found dead. After unidentified samples were found in the home lab built into Greaves' garage, Pisces friendly Roberta Kane contacted her case officer. 5 members of Pisces have now been dispatched from London and Leeds boarding the sleeper train to Penzance, where they were briefed by a handler whilst on the train. The handler was Harold Lemon. He briefed them both on Greaves and a missing flight handling the samples that was believed to have crashed somewhere in the Wye Valley in Wales. You have been given clear instructions to find out what happened to Greaves, find out what happens to the helicopter, locate and retrieve any evidence of the unnatural, and cover up any indications of the unnatural or your presence. Also, certainly not as an afterthought, save lives where possible. Blackness. The sound of the sea. A camera comes into focus as it flies above a coastal town. Beaches fade into green waters surrounding rocky outcroppings. The light is clear, but winds whip around trees and greenery. As the camera comes more inland, it drops lower and lower until it finds itself a few feet just above the road, following a powder blue Hyundai MPV. The car pulls into a side street and begins to slow as it comes up to a cordoned off area in front of a white house. The camera morphs through the window. We've got CG out the wazoo, honestly. Through the window and into the back of the car, moving forwards past 5 people, one of which is wearing a high vis and a hard hat. It moves forward until we see out the front of the car and a single police officer approaching the vehicle. You've probably got about 30 seconds or so until the police officer comes up to, I believe it was Eddie who was driving at this particular point. He looks like he's walking up to you just on your side. Is there anything that you want to do beforehand? Is there anything that you wanted to discuss?
Quick, which one of you's the governor?
Twist says, like, I've got ID. I've got CID ID. Say you're with me.
Okay.
So
You're the governor. That's all I need to know. Yeah.
To remind everybody, you are here to see Roberta Kane.
Yep. Roberta Kane has our cover identities, right?
Correct.
We don't have those yet.
That is correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hide behind the person with official documentation. It is.
Okay, so this policeman, he's quite tall. He's a white guy. He's quite thin and gaunt looking, and he's got a bit of a swagger because he thinks he's onto something here. Powder blue MPV. What's all this shit? And he motions to you to wind down the window as he comes up to you. All right.
So really shit old one where you're literally doing this really slowly.
All right, governor. How can I help you?
All right. You just coming around here for something, are you? I'm afraid this is all blocked up. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, we're here on the job, mate. Boss, he wants to know why we're here.
Hello. We're here to see Roberta Kane. I'm CID.
Oh, right.
Twist puts her hand over her name,
Okay.
but you can see the CID part of the ID.
Okay. Tell you what. I'm gonna roll.
We're gonna have to kill this guy.
It's not even
We
5
can have
minutes.
to solid snake his ass, aren't
Yes. Yeah.
Doing cardboard boxes.
He looks at your ID. It's like, all right, I'll back in a minute. You stay here. Don't go nowhere. And he wanders off back towards the house. And he's gone for 3 minutes or so. Do you guys want to do anything in the meantime? Or
I've got out of the powder blue MPV. I'm leaning against the front of the car, just sort of park my bum on the bonnet,
spark up.
light up a cigarette, twiddling my thumbs, literally sitting there twiddling my thumbs, waiting for him to come back.
Arthur's gonna get out as well, and
Stretch your legs.
stretch my legs and just kind of start taking photographs. Brings the camera up. He's not facing the direction of where we believe the crime has happened yet.
So you're taking
gonna look out.
photographs of the
He's going to
rest
look
of
out. He's going to look out the other way. Start there, but slowly turn, and just eventually pass by that area and just be snapping pictures the whole time.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Twist is going to have a cigarette out the car window. She's not going to bother getting out at the moment. She's just going to chill.
I'm going to use my legs if I
She
don't
does.
have to.
She does pause the Queen greatest hits though.
Good choice. Good choice.
Yeah.
Simon.
Just in the middle of, I like to bicycles. Sort of.
Oh, Simon, I think you're muted. I can't hear you.
Nope.
Simon's gone in silence.
No, he's muted himself.
There we go. No, that was me.
Yay!
Yeah, but yeah, it's not the crime scene vibe. Sorry, I leant on my mute button. Yeah, it's not the crime scene vibe, is it? Bicycle, bicycle.
You
be
Eddie,
surprised.
it might be.
True. But yeah, for Eddie, he's going to stay behind the wheel. He doesn't smoke. Not anymore.
Fine.
And so
Twist is aware that he's not smoking, so she's trying to sort of waft her smoke that way.
Sort of hand completely out the window.
he will try to do a bit of a cold read on as what he believes is a cold read on the neighborhood. Now, this probably isn't going to be any bearing on anything to do with the case, but this is how he always does this. And what kind of neighborhood is it? You know, is the type of people who would mind their own? Is it the type of people who would interfere and know things?
Yeah, absolutely.
That kind of thing.
Okay, all right. So I mean, tell me if I'm wrong with this, but I almost see this as perhaps even criminology, given your background.
Yeah.
You know,
criminology would
you're
probably be-
sort of casing the joint, as it were.
Yeah.
What is your criminology?
I've had somewhat of an abstract education in this, so it is 60. Yeah.
It's 60, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think that is more than fair that you're able to, you know, in a relaxed environment, which this is at the moment. You're just chilling out. You're in the car. You're just looking about. That's all you're doing. Nothing bad going on here. No pressure. So you've got a really nice kind of perception of what the neighborhood is actually like, and you get the impression that it is it's very much a suburban, quite a nice area. It's not particularly rich, but it's, you know, it is it's well off. It's you know, we're talking about your upper middle class kind of, maybe perhaps slightly upwardly mobile type of tenant. You know, people will probably be owning their houses. It's a nice area, you know, kind of place where you'd be happy for your kids to play out. It is a
Apart from the blue goo on the floor. Yeah.
well, let's not talk about the blue goo.
The double murder. Yeah.
Let's not talk about it.
It's really tanked the house prices.
I was going to say. I suspect that it's somebody trying to buy more property. Yeah, you see.
Would have got away with it too if it wasn't for us darn pesky kids.
So, it's a cul-de-sac, and the house itself. Let's actually pop over to our. Let me just bring you over.
Ooh, here we are on the
Ready?
sides of the screen.
Oh my goodness! It's a murder board.
Yeah, I mean,
Crazy
Hooray.
board.
So you actually have two photographs up here, which feel free to zoom in. we're talking goo, guys. Talking goo.
Oh yeah.
And let me pop Grieves' house on there as well. There you go. Got Grieves' house next to you. So
Okay, so yeah, a nice little area.
yeah. Let me zoom in a bit on the stream. There we go. We can see that. That's nice, isn't it? It's a nice place to live in, you know. So that's the Grieves' house. Now, in the report that you received, you did see that they had put a tent over the top of it. It looks like they've taken that
The whole
down
house?
now. Yes. Yeah,
Or
it's a
the-
biohazard
okay.
tent.
Oh, right, okay.
They have taken that biohazard tent down now. And yes, it's that is pretty much what you see.
Can Twist see anyone? Like, who can Twist see around? And is there anyone curtain twitching, all that kind of stuff
Yes, you
that
do.
she can see?
You do see there is a small amount of curtain twitching from next door. You don't really see what's going on though. There's nothing. You don't see someone's face or anything. It is just a tiny bit of movement going on. Yeah.
So Eddie's going to turn to Twist and say, "What have we got here? Those are David Austin roses over there. Fresh liquor paint on every house. But those are Wilco's fittings on the windows on a lot of places here. I think there's more pride than money around here. That means that people aren't necessarily social with each other, but all watching each other.
It
And
seems like they want to try and outdo each other.
I think that's probably a fair assumption. So
Yeah, but do they want to outdo each other so much that they're reducing each other to puddles of blue goo? That's the question, isn't it?
That would be quite an extreme reaction, I feel.
Have you ever been to a residence meeting before?
I've
Local
heard that it's
PGA
very tense.
meeting.
You know what? You've actually you've
I'd
a
rather have a
point.
meeting
You've a
with the
point
mob,
there.
really. You know, I mean,
You have a point there.
So as
Right,
you are you're kind of discussing this, the policeman he comes out of the front door of the property, and he behind him a woman starts walking out. She looks like she is in her 30s. There you go. Just pop that on there for you.
Is she on the board?
She's on the
Okay,
board,
yep.
guys. And there you go. I can show you like that.
Make her big. Yep.
She's big. She's a black woman, about her 30s. She's got quite a smart look about her. She is somebody who looks kind of serious. She starts walking towards you with some like she's got purpose, I would say. And it takes her like about 30 seconds to get over to you, and comes over just to Cleric. You said that you were just at the front of the car, didn't you?
He's sitting on the bonnet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Leaning on
Nice.
the bonnet.
So she comes wandering up to you and says, "Are you from the firm?"
Are you friends of Harold?
See, for Twist, that would have
I-
two
I
connotations.
Yeah.
Sorry, just 1 second. Sorry.
No problem. He actually asks.
I'm
Yeah.
sat in the passenger
I'll go.
seat or anything.
He actually asks
Yeah.
Pip.
The passing character Pip Gladwin is just going down the street on the other side.
Yes, the passing character.
Turns into a
Arthur.
puddle of blue goo. Yeah.
Arthur, she realizes that Cleric has had to pop to the loo quickly, and walks over to you, Argus, and just says, "Are you with the firm?"
If you're asking if the five of us are a bunch of little fishies, then yes.
Okay, I've been expecting you.
Right. We have... You have something for us that's going to get us in there?
Yeah, look. Not here. Come in
Right,
with
well.
me. And she,
Okay.
she basically, leads you to the front of the house.
Does that mean we can leave the van where it is?
Yeah, if you've parked up in a sensible manner. I mean, it's not just kind of like, cutting up on a curb or something.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave the car containing weapons in anywhere suspicious. So yeah,
That's fine. That's fine. So you just park up quite normally, assuming that it is kind of all locked up. Yeah, she leads you into the house, and the house itself. Oh, here it comes. Cleric suddenly joins you after needing the toilet very quickly.
No, somebody rang at the door, so I had to go and find
Oh,
out who
fair
it was,
enough.
so-
Goddamn Amazon.
Sorry.
That's all right. So when you enter the property, the door opens and a warm glow of natural light spills out across the polished wooden floors, and it actually creates quite an inviting ambience. It's a really nice property. So on the outside, it doesn't necessarily seem like it had tons spent on it, but inside, it looks good. It's quite a sexy place. It's quite minimalist, emphasising like clean lines, simplicity, giving each room a sense of like openness. And it's only broken up by the smudges of blood speckling the floor as you start walking towards the living room and where the kitchen is. And a lot of the smudges actually have plastic cups just over the top of them, so that people can see them and they're not moved.
Can Twist? What does it smell like in there? Is there any other than death and whatever? Is there any unusual smells as well?
Yes, there's a kind of, and it's quite noticeable actually to all of you. There's kind of chemically smell. It's actually a bit sweet as well, almost like molasses in some weird way, and obviously there's the irony tinge of blood. In fact, as you walk into the living room, you see that although it's bathed in soft hues and plush, neutral toned sofas and all of this kind of stuff, it's also slightly spattered in gore. Beside the coffee table, there's a spray of blood, and it's again there's actually some small white numbers which have just been placed around the room.
Sure.
This is it's pretty standard forensic work. People just working out where you like the order of events potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, as we're walking through, Elias's just eyes are darting all over the place just to see if he can spot anything that just looks like maybe a little odd or a little out of place. Things that might not necessarily be numbered like that the police would have gotten for.
Okay. Feel free to... what is your search?
80.
80.
Ooh.
Oof, I'm
You,
very good at
sir,
looking for
are a
things.
search beast. Okay. Let me make sure I've got my notes open for it all. Okay, so the footprints. The main thing you really notice is that footprints. They go down the hallway towards the front door and kind of across the kitchen and where the kind of main spray footprints. They're like they almost look like footprints. They're kind of like weird little splodges. It's actually
These are the dossier we read. The dossier we read described them as being like smaller than a child's footprints.
Yes,
kind
yes.
of thing.
Now,
yeah.
from what you know, from what you know, it does actually seem like there isn't any kind of child involved. The police potentially thought that there was. There you go. Some.
Can you make that big? So we can see it?
Oh yeah, I can make that big. There you go. So that's just a little example.
So is there? You said like in the prints you could see like a toe. Was it?
Yes, in one of the in the report that you received, which you can still look at. By the way, it is in the journal section under operations and then in St. Ives.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you end up reading in that dossier in the timeline that it does actually say that there looks to be a kind of a human toe print or a fingerprint or something like that that is at least in one of these smudges. And as you're walking through with I believe it's D.I. Kane. No, it isn't. It's not D.I. Kane. She's part of a different group of people. She's with the health authorities. So Roberta Kane, she as you are walking through with her, she's just talking about how the body was found, and it pretty much it tallies with what you have already read. There's no particular kind of deviation from that. And with as I was saying, Adam, these marks, again, from what you read, it looks like that is exactly what has been said. And you can see that it actually goes round to, if you follow these kind of little marks, they actually go round to a boiler cupboard, and there's another door behind the boiler, which then leads into, if you're wanting to like go in. Is that yeah?
Okay, I'd look in that direction.
So you're basically, you're being careful, you're stepping around all of the cups and the white little tags and the blood, and you push open this door, and it leads into a fucking big lab, and instantly you're like, this is no like simple home job. This is very, very like expensive. Do you? Yes.
The lab is probably the first place that Cleric would have disappeared off to.
Okay, so Cleric, yes. Let's start cycling through people a little bit. Let's say that Icarus, if you're staying there and you are having a look at all of these marks, Cleric, you wander over into... sorry, Icarus, you will actually probably end up walking behind Cleric if he's gone into the lab before you. You're following along, looking at these marks, and then you go into the lab with him.
Yep.
Cleric, do you have any kind of medical knowledge, anything like that at all?
I have first aid. I don't have any medicine.
Okay.
That's
But
or any
sciences,
pharmacy or anything like that.
What kind of science do you have?
I have electrical, mechanical, and microelectronics.
Actually, you know what? I am more than happy for that to hinge on that one. What is what kind of scores are you hitting for those?
I've got 31% in all three of those.
Okay.
But, I think they're all tied into.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Sort of basically building motherboards and stuff like that for his for his projects at university.
Okay, so when you walk in there, just in front of Icarus, all Icarus hears is you just going, "Fucking hell," and the reason being is that you know that this is essentially the closest that it's possible to get to like a biohazard level, biosafety, should I say, level 4, which is incredibly high. So you're talking like air scrubbers, its own air supply. You have an incredibly complex set of machinery, and even the kind of the box with the gloves and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very, very expensive and very high tech. Argus, what are you doing at this particular moment?
I think I'm going to follow, if I can, that sort of chemical smell that you described, the sort of sugary one. And if I can find a source, then I'd love to find a source. And if I can't, I'll just make a roll on smell alone to see if I can maybe try and work out what that is, or at least what part of it might be, in terms of its chemical composition. Okay.
Do you have anything that could perhaps relate in skill with?
Science, chemistry.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
I got 40% in that.
Yeah, that's not bad. Not bad at all. Okay.
Do you want me to roll on it?
No, because this is quite a chilled scenario.
Okay.
I would say that absolutely with about 40 you would have an idea of kind of what's going on. The thing is that it's very difficult to understand what is going on because you haven't really smelt this before. It is a very chemical, almost kind of astringent kind of smell, with an overlay of sweetness. And you think, is that like some kind of I don't know, like sometimes when you burn stuff, it just kind of gives off like burnt hair or something.
Sure.
It's not pleasant. It is not a very pleasant smell at all. And it's mixed with a slight acidic kind of element in there as well. This is not something that you've gone around, you've been like, yes, I totally know what this is. This is chlorine or something. It's not quite to that level where you definitely
sure
know.
Okay. Well, I'm probably, for now at least, the lab really does genuinely seem like the most interesting place to be right now.
Sure.
So I will probably I will probably gravitate that way with the others. I'm particularly interested in I remember from the timeline that we read.
Yeah.
The samples, wherever the samples were collected from, there were like
that was in
little chemical vials in the lab. So I think that's where I'm heading. I'm
okay.
And again, there is unless someone is trying to stop him, wherever Arthur is walking, even when he doesn't necessarily have the camera like up to the viewfinder all the time, but it's hanging around his neck and one hand is on it. As he's moving around, there is just a constant little click, 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 click. The camera is just taking pictures of everything all the time.
Okay, cool. Brilliant. So you
the biggest SD cards.
Oh yeah, the biggest SD cards. The biggest SD cards that 2014 could manage.
At least 500 gig.
He's carrying one on his back. It's this giant rucksack that's just plugged into the camera.
It's just 2 gigs.
Steaming, just smoking. That's what the burning smell was. It was my giant SD card backpack. Yeah.
Okay, so you end up following Icarus. You're behind Icarus. You're kind of taking pictures as you walk through, and you go through into this lab. And again, like with chemistry as well, you're like, oh shit. You have never seen a lab this decked out that isn't like massively commercial. Twist, what are you doing?
So Twist will walk. Twist will walk past the lab. She'll kind of briefly sort of look in as she's walking past. And now Twist loves Breaking Bad, and she's going to have seen that and go, "Fucking hell! Like, it's a meth lab. Actually, it's better than a meth lab." Anyway, but she isn't, other than things to do with drugs and things, she's not that sciencey.
Sure.
So she is going to have a look around the rest of the house. Is there any, like swabs and pots or little evidence bag type things that around that she can take to use, as in new ones, to if she sees anything that she might want to pick up?
Like Roberta is, again, she's walking through and she's kind of talking to you about all of this, and she's just like, seriously, I do not know what's going on. This is why I called you guys. And she hands you some gloves and some evidence kits, like the little DNA swabs and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, just take what you need.
If Twist rubs really hard on the weird little freaky footprint things, will she be able to get, even if it's dried, would she still be able to get dry blood up from those at the very least?
If you can just kind of like go to one of them, and it is dried by this point. We're talking like 2 days in.
Yeah. So,
you can kind of, I think you can either scrape it or with a edge of
flex of it or whatever. Yeah.
You can get some into a bag or into like one of those little test tubes. That's no issue.
And going around the rest of the house.
Yeah.
Is there anything that looks like it's just completely out of place, or with Twist having good alertness and things like that, is there anything weird that she notices that she's just like, this isn't?
If you want to use your alertness, go for it. What is it again? What is your alertness?
What is my alertness? My alertness is 74.
Okay, that's fine. You're wandering about. You can tell
I roll that, or should I not roll
there's
that?
No need. There's no need.
Oh, cool. Okay.
It's a very high alert.
I got excited.
No, that's fine. We'll only start rolling when shit hits the fan, or when we get bored. So you're having a look around as well. You can see a cleric has disappeared off into the lab, as has Icarus, who looks a little bit more intensely like he's looking around. Argus is just taking photos all over the place and sniffing. And he
pretty much.
he disappears over into the lab as well. We'll find out in one moment what Eddie's doing. But Twist, you have a look around. You actually start kind of wandering around the house a little bit, just getting a vibe of the place.
Is there paperwork, anything like that? Is there an office or a desk? Or...
Okay, so you start having a look around, and you see that there's the living room, there's the kitchen. It's like modern appliances all over the place. It's like really nice white cabinets and stuff.
But they've got a good coffee machine, haven't they?
Oh yeah, you bet. You bet. They've even got one of those ridiculous juicers that looks like a rocket. Pretentious. There's a master bedroom, and there's a couple of other bedrooms in there as well. And there's a small office that you come up to, and you can go in there. You can have a look around if you like. You said what's your search at though?
Not great, but she'll give it a go anyway.
What is your search?
38.
That's
was
okay. No,
about 25.
That's fine. You were you start having a look around the desk and everything. You find a couple of old bills, things like that. It looks like everything is paid on time, all of the time. He's not in debt. There's no issues at all with people wanting to find out whether you haven't paid me for this or anything like that.
Is there any weird invoices for any weird items?
Well, after how long are you going to take? How long are you going to take to have a look around, do you think? Just out of interest. There's no,
I don't know. She's probably going to basically while the others are in the lab, really. So she probably feels that she couldn't really offer much assistance or help.
So let's say there are other people that they've kind of disappeared over to the lab. We'll work out again what Eddie's doing in a sec. But he's just outside smoking. Where
shall I go? Where shall I go? Where shall I go?
And you are in there. We'll say for about an hour. You're just having a look around. Now, Eddie, what is it that you are doing?
So, Eddie knows violence, and you mentioned that there was blood spatter.
Yep.
That's the thing that heightens him the most. He sees the lab kind of thing that everybody else is going into, understands that he knows nothing about what's on the other side of that room, but the thinkers have gone there. Something happened here, something adrenal, something active, something violent. And that's something that he can attune to.
Okay.
So he's going to look at the blood spatters, try to trace, before this guy turned into goo, was he going somewhere in particular? Did he stop somewhere and bleed more in that area? That kind of thing. And he's just trying to take in as much of the last few actions of what's his name again?
Mr. Greaves.
Tybalt Greaves. And also because I don't think the girlfriend's body is here. You said that's already been removed.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
But they'll have markers, and so he'll trace her movement and his movement. Did they fight? Did they whatever?
Okay.
Normally he would be using this skill to find out who whacked who.
Yeah, of course.
But in this case, he's instead of finding out who he has to whack, he's just trying to build up a picture instead.
Okay. Do you have any forensics?
My forensics is 40.
Oh, awesome. Nice. Tasty. Okay.
Normally because he has to clean up so the forensics don't catch him.
Of course.
But,
of course. Okay, yeah. Oh, all right. So I would say with the forensics, you are having a look around, and from the impression that you gather of movements and where even you're getting a sense of what happened because of the placement of all of the little markers as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. So usually they will place those in order of occurrence. So as you're just kind of looking around and you're surveying what's actually happened. From what you can tell, there was probably some kind of a struggle. There was... It doesn't necessarily look like there was a struggle between them, though. Because the majority of both of the blood splatters, the moment at which most of the gore has kind of hit the wall, as it were, they look to be in slightly different areas. And there is a point that Tybalt has... Obviously, he has been kind of facing, I believe it's Amanda Griffin, and then he turns and, like, I don't know, she falls over or something like that, or there's a struggle, and then he has gone out through the front door. And theoretically, where he was found by Ernest Torres, that is where he was all night.
As Twist goes past, because she's casing pretty much the entire house, whereas I'm just focusing on that one question, I'll just look up and go, this is panic, mate. There was no violence that happened here. This is just sheer panic. Like, you know, like real horror movie stuff, you know what I mean? I mean, look at how he's going towards the door here. I mean, at some point he interacted with the girl, but I mean, he was trying to get away from something. At least that's what I'm seeing.
Twist, I'm more than happy for you to interact at this particular point. Let's say that you have, like, this is slightly before you head over into the office.
Okay. So Twist will think about what he said and be that's kind of peculiar. I mean, it's not a normal kind of domestic. I'm still kind of confused about these tiny footprints as well.
Yeah, I mean, they said there wasn't a kiddie involved, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, there's
thank God for that. I don't think I'll be able to cope
I don't think it's Child's Play and Chucky going on. It's some.
Oh, I hated that film.
Oh,
all right, but yeah, I mean, okay, that's one thing, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, I was thinking maybe they had some sort of domestic. She hit him with something sciencey. It melted him because acid does that, right?
But then surely, I mean, I'm no scientist by any means, but surely something like sciencey, because I also am not in any way sciencey. Would that not just either bubble or boil skin or just melt somebody rather than turn him into some weird? Didn't they say hard candy and blue?
Yeah, I wondered what they meant like that. I mean, they mean like stick a rock candy stuff, yeah.
So, from the original document that you received, it's stated that it was it kind of melted and then it went hard.
So a bit like basically, yeah. So is it a bit more like resin now?
Yeah, I mean, Roberta, she kind of chimes in and says, yeah, I've seen it myself. It's really weird. It's kind of, I don't know, it's like crystalline. It just breaks apart.
And acid doesn't do that, right? I've never used acid.
I've never heard of anything like this in my life.
Well, I've heard of the blue crystal meth in Breaking Bad, but I don't think it's that.
I don't think anyone's...
Sorry, I'm really into Breaking Bad.
I can tell. You know there's a lab through there, right? So, yeah, I honestly, I'm stumped. I mean, perhaps you could.
Are there any samples at all of the? I know it sounds horrible and disrespectful because it was a person originally, but is there any? I know you said that what they sent away on the helicopter went down, but is there any of the weird crystallized blue stuff left to test?
We've sent everything over with Lewis Stubbs over to the coroner's office over in Truro. So both Amanda Griffin and Mr. Greaves, both of them have been taken over to sit in cold storage.
And have you spoken to all the neighbours at all? Anything they've seen?
We've done some passing chats with them. They were originally evacuated because we weren't sure of what the situation was here. We didn't want it to kind of spread out over into neighbouring houses or anything. They were evacuated, went to hospital to be checked over, along with Nes Torres, the gentleman who found Mr. Greaves, and they've said they didn't see anything. I mean, you're more than welcome to talk to them.
I may try. Do we know anything about, has anybody reported on what kind of relationship they had? Were they close? Were they volatile? Were they...
You mean Grieves and Griffin?
Sorry, yes.
Apparently she's been with him since, let me check my notes.
It's always fun when you can do that in universe, isn't it, John?
It is. It is. She gets out a tiny black book and flicks through, and says, "Oh, it's not here." No, it's been about 4 years or so, I think. We've been together. I mean, she was significantly younger than him, and she points to a picture that is just on the mantle, and there you go. Let me show you.
New thing on the board.
Go.
There's quite a big age gap.
There you go. So he is in his 60s, and she is, I believe, 24.
Wow. Do we know how they met?
Apparently she used to be a stripper.
Okay, and I'm assuming that's where they met together then. Okay.
Well, yeah, she, I think she's, from what we've managed to ascertain, she's from Bristol originally. And she, they got together 4 or so years ago. She used to work at strip clubs in London. They then moved in together. I believe Greaves purchased this property sometime in 2001, I think it was. 2002, roundabout then. But yeah.
You said they'd been together 4 years.
Yeah, so around about 2010.
12 years ago. Okay.
No,
oh, you already owned the house. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right. Okay.
I mean, he's an interesting guy. from what we found
Is
out
he-
about him.
Mm.
Well, he's
And
sorry.
what is it that you have found out about him?
Well, he's retired, obviously, geneticist. Born in New York. Apparently, he earned a doctorate in molecular biology, genetics, and biochemistry at Northwestern University. He was, let's see here, he was recruited out of a teaching and research position, Northwestern's genetics program in about '85 by DARPA, which is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
Sorry, what was that? Again, it's out of above game. What was it? The DARPA.
DARPA. DARPA. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Which is the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. I mean, we've not been able to find very many people who know him in the UK, but we've spoken to a couple of his colleagues who he used to work with over in the States, and well, they said that before that recruitment, they do remember that he underwent pretty much a complete personality change. He'd been socially awkward but outgoing, and then he became an introvert, utterly closed off, who disappeared from the lives of pretty much everybody.
Does anybody know what he was working on most recently? That was he been on a pet project as such?
No, he's been completely and utterly retired, as far as anybody knows. I think it's
he has a lab. Clearly, he's not completely retired.
Your guess is as good as mine. I mean, he doesn't have any debts. From what we can tell, he's somebody who has an awful lot of money. Or did have an awful lot of money. I think when he left DARPA in about '97, kind of disappeared off of the face of the planet for a while. And then I think he moved to, Seattle for a little while, and he patented a blood typing process called anti-ABD. Apparently he had a lucrative licensing agreement. Sold it to Merck in 2000 for 18.8 million. And we found out that at the time of his death, he's worth roughly 21 million. Why he's living in a house like this is anyone's guess.
So,
Honestly.
obviously, who would be set to inherit his worth? Obviously, I know the girlfriend's now died, so it wouldn't be her. But who would be the one that inherit?
Like I said, we have checked, and he has no heirs at all. He has been living with Griffin for the past 4 years. Before that, all he was actually doing was he managed his money and bought the affection of strippers, porn stars, and prostitutes.
Rock and roll.
I suppose if you got the money.
And sorry, one of the last things I do need to get back to my colleagues.
And upstairs to look through
So,
a desk.
yes, I do. I need to go and get the desk. Remind me. So, Tybalt turned into the hard blue goo.
That's right.
But the girlfriend didn't. She died. Do we know the actual cause of her death at the moment, or not really?
No. I mean, well, she had a very similar issue, shall we say, with lacerations. Her face was disfigured. It's horrible.
Poor girl. She's very pretty.
She was.
Okay, I'm going to speak to my colleagues to see what they think of all of this and if they found anything.
No problem. I'm here if you need me. And with that, we'll move back over.
Before you go, do we have any? If we do need to go anywhere, if we do need to access anything or go anywhere, do you have IDs or anything for us?
Oh yes. I was going to give you these, and she hands you 5 IDs. Now, with regards to this, I would like all of you to make up a name for me.
Oh, heck yeah.
So,
what's our position? Well, what's the thingies?
Oh, okay. So you will be senior advisors for. Let me make sure I have got this right. The UK Health Security Agency.
God, why do I feel like during COVID, when the people that stood up that talked about the UK health things, why do I feel like we're
probably partly that, yeah.
So, senior advisor for UK Health Security
Agency.
Yes,
it's the for anyone that's not sure, it is the kind of equivalent of CDC.
Who is that? Oh, not the World Health Organization.
No.
Okay.
Not quite, sort of maybe, but the CDC has more of a harder line, I think. But they have more power than the who are like an advisory body half the time. Okay.
And the other half of the time they're a band. Sorry.
Exactly. Cleric.
Yeah, no, that was it's just throw a joke in. Sometimes you do, and
let's lighten the mood.
And it goes well, and sometimes you do, and it doesn't, and that's fine.
Cleric. Let's see. You were the first person into the lab with Icarus just trailing in behind.
Yes.
What is it that you two do before Argus turns up with his camera? Do you discuss anything?
I feel like we both let out a gasp at how fancy this lab is.
Yeah, exactly. He just wanders around.
Just instinctively hold hands.
Seriously.
I'd like you to roll for gasp, please.
That is 59. I failed for gasp.
Yes.
Choke and die.
You accidentally swallow some spit and slightly cough.
So what are you guys actually doing?
I am once I've got over the size and whiteness of this lab, I am going to look for laptops or desktops, anything like that. I'm guessing probably over towards one wall or in the corner somewhere.
Yep. So you've got there's a laptop just over in the corner, and looks like there's a desktop which was probably used to run experiments and God knows what else. Yep. Feel free to.
Okay. I will. Is it on, or do I need to boot it up?
No, doesn't look like. The laptop looks like it might be on sleep mode, but the desktop is off.
Okay, I will boot up the desktop, and I will sort of.
So you
try and open up the laptop.
You press the button and it's dead.
Oh, it's completely dead.
Yes.
Okay, I will check to make sure it's all plugged in.
Yes, it's all plugged in. You roll me. What is your alertness?
Tech support roll.
Yes. What is your tech support? What is your alertness?
My alertness is, if I can find my sheet. Hang on, 1 second.
You should have it on Foundry as well.
Yeah, it'll be on Foundry.
I have.
Yeah.
But I was trying to choose a name for my.
Oh, sorry. Yes,
my ID.
everybody else, think of names.
That's okay. So alertness. It's 35%.
Oh,
Would you
35.
like me to
Great.
roll an alertness?
No, you don't need to roll. It's all good.
No.
You're
okay,
fine. For your alertness, as you bend round the back just to check the sockets are all in and it's switched on at the wall and all of the stupid stuff that techie people always have to check. You smell slight burning. You smell this kind of like an electrical kind of the astringent, like plasticky burning smell of electronics.
Okay, I will probably jerk my head out fairly quickly and pull all the wires out the sockets, everything else.
Yep.
Basically, any cable that looks like it might have power going through it.
Okay.
Pull all of those out. Doesn't matter if I like damage the socket, because as long as the motherboard's safe, it can be looked at later.
Yep.
Just rip all the wires out and physically pull the box out of where it is.
Yes.
And plonk it on the floor away from everything.
Okay. Yep. Cool. You do that. Icarus, what are you doing?
So Icarus, while clerics go in the techie route, Icarus is going the paper route. So he's looking around the lab to see if he can find any notes or journals or even just books that might be interesting to see what's there.
Okay. Cool. Your search is stupid high, isn't it?
It is.
Yes. Okay. So stupid high search. You are looking around. There's a couple of small, drawers and things like that have got some documents in. You just start rifling through this stuff and just looking at bits and pieces. Let's say whilst you're doing that, let's say that Argus at this point, he wanders in, and you can tell where he is because of the.
Yep.
What are you doing, Argus?
I'm seeing if I can find where these samples were found. I'm looking for some sort of a containment unit or a safe or a little it probably wouldn't be a safe. It would probably be something with a little bit of climate control, and it would be I'm not a science guy. I've got a little bit of chemistry.
Yeah.
Fridge,
But
or one of
a
those.
fridge.
Yeah,
Probably a fridge.
Some form
The
of
word I was
containment,
looking for was
something like that.
fridge. It actually genuinely was. It just didn't. No, but it was. It just
We
didn't
got
come
there.
into my brain.
We got that.
Fridge. It's not
Okay.
my diary. Okay, I find a fridge. I
Okay.
look for a fridge.
So you're looking around. What you see is that there is actually an area where there's kind of various chemicals stored. There is a little fridge with the clear front that some little labels in there and things like that. And you walk over to it. And your search is okay as well, isn't it? It's sort of like, was it 30s,
No, my
40s?
search is my search sucks. It's the standard 20%.
20. That's fine. Honestly,
Yeah.
you're just looking in a fridge. It's not like
Aye.
this hidden item in the fridge.
No, it's fine. I've looked in a lot of fridges.
Yes, usually yogurt. So
You might not want to eat yogurt you find in this fridge.
no. Avoid the yogurt.
I'll be the judge of that.
Protein yogurt.
Especially if it's blue.
See, solved it. The yogurt was off.
They've turned into yogurt.
Oh no. So you open up the fridge and you just start looking at the labels, and with your knowledge of chemistry, you have a fairly decent idea that this is pretty much the kind of things that you would expect to find in a fridge in a lab. They're just kind of like base elements and stuff like that.
Right.
There is nothing there that grabs your eye as to strange blue liquid, do not touch, or anything like that. Okay.
Okay. So I'm guessing that the sample case that is talked about in the dossier that we had, that's been removed somewhere else.
Yes. Within the dossier, you saw that they placed all of the samples which I think that Roberta Kane labelled as like unknown biological sample, something like that.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Undifferentiated cellular material with human characteristics.
There you go. I mean, it's even more horrifying than I came up with. Yeah, you know that Roberta Kane. She went in. She took those vials, placed them in the case, and gave the case to the people who.
Right. Okay.
Took it over to the helicopter.
That makes sense. And I guess I was sort of hoping to find more than the kind of standard array of chemicals you'd expect to find in a well-stocked lab. So I will turn my attention to these prints, which I believe come into this space or came out of this space.
They do actually. Yes. Yeah. You. What you actually see
in terms of the like, if it is possible to see whether there's if these prints have enough sort of shape to them to identify the direction that they're moving in. So is it that it's coming from where the attack happened?
So it's the point of origin, as it were.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's cool. From what you can tell, there is some blood in this lab. And it's more towards where the big case with the gloves is. So it's just sort of over there. You can't tell if there's a specific direction or anything like that. You can see that there is a bit of blood splatter. There's a couple of additional little numbers shoved around there. It's not a lot. It's not as much as that was in the living room and in the rest of the house.
Okay, so that would imply to me that the deaths happened, and then whatever this thing is came in here. Right? If there's blood on it, that's probably human blood. We're guessing it's human blood. And then it with blood on it has come into this room, and now we don't know where it is.
The feet
if it is in it.
Saw were in this direction, right? It was like it was coming to the lab rather than coming out.
Rather than coming out of the lab. Is that right?
You can let me see.
We're making that supposition. I'm not asking you to tell me whether that's true or not, John.
I'm wondering if there's anything you can have as a skill that might be able to assist you with an idea of perhaps direction of these little things.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to you. I don't know. I mean, there's search. I don't know why I'm doing that with my voice. There's search.
Criminology or
forensics?
I got criminology.
Forensics.
Don't have forensics, but
you know that Eddie has perhaps got some okay forensics. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, okay. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, because I maybe heard Eddie talking in the outside about like his thoughts about the
blood splatter and stuff like that.
Blood splatter. So I think I'm going to head out and I'm gonna speak to Eddie.
Okay, cool. All right. So Argus, Eddie is stood there, and he's just been kind of part of this conversation with Twist and Roberta Kane. Twist has now disappeared upstairs. She's going to be gone for about an hour or so. You don't know that. And
she wrote a little post-it and left it. I'll be gone for about an hour.
We'll be back. Argus, Eddie, I'm assuming you just interact. You take Eddie into the.
Yeah. I'll head over. Humour me for a minute, if you would.
All right.
And I'm gonna head over towards where we think whatever happened. Was it in the kitchen?
Partly in the kitchen.
Partly in the.
Yes. So you've got the kitchen and you got the living room, and they're slightly open plan, and there is some blood in the kitchen, and there's it looks like Amanda Griffin was on the floor in the living room. Does that make sense?
She was on the floor in the living room, and then he from...
So, to make this clear, There's blood.
If only we had a map.
Sorry, this is like one of the only things I didn't fucking do. You got everything else, Jesus. Right.
Why didn't you prepare for our every random whim?
hang on.
That's what good DMs do.
Oh God. The hours I've spent. So you have the lab. There is a small amount of blood in the lab. There are some drops or footprints or whatever you want to call them, leading or in or out of that lab, which is hidden. The lab is hidden, don't forget. In the kitchen, there is some blood splatter. In the living room, there is some blood splatter. And Amanda Griffin's body was found in the living room.
Yeah.
Slightly away from there, heading towards the front door, was some more blood splatter, and then what looks to be Tybalt Greaves has moved towards that front
the trail.
door. Yes.
The trail.
Now you can see that the kind of the marks and stuff like that, they're all over the place, these little marks. It's not just necessarily just like it's a, you know, it's not just an Oompa Loompa, you know.
Oh right, well that's my fucking theory out the window.
We can all go. We can all go home now.
We can.
We've rolled out Oompa Loompa, guys. We can go.
Figuring it out.
So
we only do Oompa Loompa cases. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the science thing. I don't know, but
No, well that's why I'm talking to you. I've got a thought.
Okay, go on, shoot.
So she's found in here on the ground. We need to get a look at that body if we can.
Yeah, I heard there were scratches
Round her mouth.
on her mouth.
Aye.
I thought she had the blue shit around her mouth.
She did.
Well, the blood had congealed. Her face was kind of fucked up. Again, I haven't seen it. We need to get some crime scene photos. We need to get a proper look at this.
Yeah. All right.
But she's over here, and he's what, in the kitchen? And now there's blood near her and blood in the kitchen. And then he's running out the house.
I mean, at one point...
And then his face is all fucked up. They've cut his throat. His jaw's all mangled. Look, we're all theorising here. I think something came out of her and killed him.
See, I had it back to front. You said there's blood in the
the
lab,
other way
right?
around.
Yeah, you said there's blood in the lab,
whatever it
right?
was, it's gone in there. Whatever this fucking thing is, I reckon. I don't know.
No, I mean, I probably got it asked backwards. As I say, I'm not a scientist, right? So he's the scientist. He goes in a lab. First bit of blood comes from there. That's probably him breaking a vial and cutting himself or something like that, right?
Right.
He infects himself? What was he, like a virologist or
He's
something?
a geneticist, well, retired anyway.
Okay, I don't know what that means, but he does a thing with science, right?
Right.
And he, like in those movies, like with the monkey, yeah, he breaks something and something happens to him, right? He is trying to do something about it. He's panicking. He comes out of secret lab. Mrs. is out here, right? Doing her nails or such, right? So he's panicking. She goes up to him. You said that he was all, like, his face was all exploded. Yeah?
Right.
Like the jaw and all the rest of it. I think that's something coming out of him and attacking her.
Right.
Because they said scratches, yeah? You ever seen a hamster try to get into, like, a toilet roll, right?
I got you.
There's something I think came out of him, went into her. Because it was in him first, he went all melty first.
Right.
Question is she going to get melty soon? If so, should we be going to, check her out before she goes all
No, you're not
sticky?
wrong.
Yeah?
Sorry, Miss Kane, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know if you have the authority, but how can we get a look at the body and/or crime scene photographs? I assume some were taken before they both disintegrated.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a series of photos that actually span the disintegration of Greaves. It's,
That time lapse, isn't it?
yeah, it's over the course of, I think, about 15, 20 minutes. It's quite disturbing.
Well, I would like to see those and any of the young lady as well. Just whatever was taken on the scene, if possible.
Yeah, I can get those for you. Also, you'll need to talk to Dr. Lewis Stubbs. He's the coroner. He currently has both bodies.
Perfect. How far is he?
He's over in Truro. It's not too far.
How obviously I know, but for the audience, how far from where we are right now to Truro?
It's perhaps an hour to 2 hours drive.
Okay.
I might be wrong in that.
Yeah, don't at us, fans
Don't.
in Truro.
Yeah, like I know. Honestly, I do know.
Right. Okay. Well, there's definitely more to be found here, but I feel like we're lacking context.
Okay. So, what I will say is that you guys, you're currently looking at in various areas. So, Cleric, you've either gone over to the laptop. Is that right? At this point, or are you still looking at the? Okay. Let's say that you.
No, as long as the desktop's not going to suddenly burst into flames, if I'm quite happy with that, I will be floating about the laptop.
We'll get round to that. Icarus, you are looking through paperwork in the drawers in the lab. Eddie, Argus, you are chatting away, and Twist, you have head upstairs and you are in the office and you are looking through paperwork. This is so exciting.
Twist is gonna like anything that anything like potential like notepads, journals, or anything she might not understand that she thinks somebody else might. She will take with her as well downstairs, because she knows there's more, booky people downstairs that would understand it.
Okay. Cool. All right. So
but I did ask as well if there was any.
Some of us have put points in bureaucracy.
But it's like more if there's any things like as I said, like weird invoices for things.
Okay.
And you said it was, and then you didn't tell me.
Well, that's what we'll get round to.
Okay.
Just one thing, Argus.
Mm-hmm.
As you are chatting, you get this alert on your phone.
Yeah, I pull it out while I imagine Eddie is in the middle of sort of describing a film he saw once where something horribly violent happened that relates to what we're currently looking at. So I will.
Why not?
Alien and the chest busters.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was actually a chemical that was in the shampoo, and they got a lot of the shampoo and they put it inside a fire truck, you see, and then.
I think I'm pretty sure I saw that one, and I'll take my phone.
So you take your phone out, and it's from Meg Carmichael.
Oh. Yeah.
So it's just a WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And,
cool.
And it says, "Where are you?"
I will. I'll text her back, and I will just say, something came up. What's up?
Have you seen the news? And we will leave it at that for the moment. And we will go to break.
But what is the news? What is the news, John?
What is the news? Right, we will be back in roughly 10 minutes. We'll take a quick break. Everyone out there, go get a drink, go to the bathroom, make sure that you stay safe and don't do anything dark and evil. Enjoy yourselves.
Beware of blue goo.
Bye.
Bye.
Hello, everybody. We're at Look, hands.
We have them.
I hope everyone had a lovely bathroom break. I've got a coffee.
As have I, in a very similar looking mug.
Who are you? What are you doing? You're going into my kitchen and stealing.
Are you two watching each other?
Only when we're allowed to. Oh, I see a badger on that mug. That's cool. Right. So.
Sorry, I've just had the dog put his toy on top of my foot. Sorry.
I think that I mean as much as what we're drinking is important, I think that Pip is desperate to know what the news is.
What's the news, John? Tell me what the news is.
What's the phone?
So you
It's a television program that tells you what's going on in the world.
What do you do? What do you do? Do you just go looking for just have a look on the news, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, it's 2014, so I'll just look online. It's fine.
So you just start Googling local news or something like, or
BBC website,
whatever. And it takes you a tiny bit of time to actually find it, and you see just this headline that says Kerry Macked in Cornwall, and then you're like, what the fuck? And you go on to a local website, and you see, if you go on to Foundry, you go on to Cornwall Live.
Oh shit. Yeah, I mean, Eddie, you would 100% be aware of Arthur just turning away, looking at his phone, and then just starting to mutter a lot under his breath.
You all right, chicken?
Fine. Yeah, no, all good. Just some work stuff. We should.
Don't stress yourself out with extra work. I mean, it's not as if this place isn't stressful enough.
No, you're not wrong. Those crime scene photographs, how quickly can you get those? I'll say to Kane.
A couple of hours?
Great. As soon as you can would be fantastic.
Yeah, sure. Look, I might even have them with me. Wait.
Please, if you wouldn't mind, that would be.
Yeah. Wait here. And she.
If I could see the scratches, get the one with the scratches. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I like them.
Those things. Yeah.
And she turns around, and she heads out of the lab. Now, I did not want to kind of disrail anybody, but I know that Argus was taking Crazy Eddie into the lab for a reason, because of his ability with criminology and blood splatter and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So just to make sure that we are on the right track and everything.
We're both. I think we've both got decent criminology skills. I think I wonder if Eddie's is probably a bit better than mine, but he's got that reverse engineered. Like, I've done the violence, so here's what it looks like after.
I remember this.
I did it better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing like taking pride in your work, right? Okay, so with your ability to look at the kind of forensic side of things, you start to see a bit more of a pattern about perhaps what went on. And you think it actually started in here. You're not sure what it is, but you can see that the way that the blood splatter is, it's less. It's not as kind of violent and gory and just like over the top, which is what you would expect from major wounds. This is more like, this is still a pretty bad wound, whatever happened here, but it's not necessarily life-threatening at this particular point. And that is pretty much what you kind of gather from this.
Well, it's also pretty close to what Eddie seemed to be suggesting as well.
Yeah.
So, like, here's where our wound. This is the start, and then it heads outside.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's like with all wounds. The first time you do it, there's a little bit of a trickle and all the rest of it, but then the heart gets pumping. You know, you start, kind of putting your hand on it, but then you put your hand on a wall, and it always gets worse. Yeah. Unless of course you do the throat, but
it's these footprints, or wherever they are. What's this?
Up with that? I mean, it's not a cat. You know,
No.
I mean, ordinarily I'd say that something's something stepped in the blood and walked it around, because it's. But then, if it was responsible for the scratches, maybe it made some of the blood and made it worse itself, because there's a lot more out there than is in here. But I've had to chase a cat down to wipe its paws before in a crime scene. But
what a day that was!
Tell you about that one. I'll tell you about that in the holiday inn. Yeah. But
I can tell you've a few stories in you.
But yeah, I mean, what do you think could have caused it? I mean, you know this kind of environment, right?
What, like a lab? I mean, sort of.
Does Cleric know more?
Team Cleric is sort of slamming this computer, trying to get it to work.
It's got a fuck's sake.
Fucking thing.
No, I think maybe we should try and loop Icarus in on this. I wonder.
Yeah. Any of you's thinking? Because what I'm thinking is, someone gets murdered in a mechanics bay, right? I'm checking all the wrenches to see what's missing. In this case, it could be something that's missing from
problem
here
is
that he got himself with. Yeah.
Problem is though, they've taken half of it.
Yeah.
They've taken all the samples of the strange stuff. All that's left in that fridge over there, that's a word I learned today, fridge, is...
scientific term. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Sounds sciencey.
All that's left over there is standard stuff,
Milk. Yogurt.
Yeah.
Yogurt.
Just got some
We think it's yogurt.
breakfast in there. Bit of orange juice,
But
start the day
couple
right.
Couple of sausages in a Tupperware box. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
Some suspicious blue rock candy.
So,
I had some. It tasted funnily chlorine.
Twist would totally still be convinced that that's just blue meth, crystal meth. She's
Yes. Don't
she
smoke
wants it to be crystal meth. Yeah.
She's like,
I love
Crushing it
the
up,
sort
it's like
of.
getting a
I
straw
lo-
out. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Well,
I'm
it's
just
it's
testing.
the idea that like the job that you do in Pisces Delta Green is so stressful and awful that the imaginary world you wanted to escape into is the world of Breaking Bad. It's like, okay, fuck, are you all right? Maybe one day I'll be hit with a transit van. Spoilers.
I dream of the day.
Argus, maybe that's something you can talk with Miss Kane about. You know, did they lift a broken vial?
I'll go and you know what? I'll go and make sure these photographs are happening, and
Yeah.
Argus is going to head out. And then before I assume, let's stick with these guys. But as he's going out, he's taking his phone out and he's calling Meg back as he's going outside the house to sort of see where Kane's gone. But he's going to phone Meg, but we'll get to that, I'm sure.
Okay, cool. Now, let's move around a little bit. Cleric, you are tippy-tapping away on the computer. You have quite good computer sciencey type skills, don't you?
I do.
that's his job, isn't it?
Exactly.
Computer science, 60%. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So you have a look through. Now this does look like it's pretty much a personal computer that perhaps he uses on a day-to-day basis as well. So you've got access to his email. I would say that you spend perhaps an hour or something like that just running some programs that you know that you've got your own server. You just kind of like download these couple of like little programs that you just run in the background just to look for stuff. You're a pro at this stuff. It's not
riffing off script kiddies from the darknet. You know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you pretty much you find very little there of like any real interest. It's the guy, you can tell like he has a very clean paper trail. There's nothing there that seems particularly weird in any way. There's nothing that jumps out at you as being, he's not contacting Mr. Heisenberg about his blue crystal meth. There's nothing like that. But
there's nothing in the trash bin. There's nothing in these deleted items.
No.
No weird sort of browser history.
No.
Stripper porn, that sort of thing.
No, nothing like that at all. No. He's got his own porn star with him. It's fine. He's got his own stripper. So you're actually interrupted by Icarus, who's like, you're just searching through various bits of paper, and you come across something that relates to the construction of the lab that you're in. You actually find
blueprints or something.
No, it's not blueprints.
Ah.
It's not blueprints. You find various work orders to do with the lab. You find essentially, it's a paper trail of receipts and things like that essentially relate to him building it in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, was it 4 years ago? It was completed. Just before Amanda actually came into the house as well. What you do notice about that is that there is actually several people who worked on this. And it wasn't just like one company. They didn't just all like this one company came in, they did the building. It's actually like 6-7 different companies over the course of perhaps like a year, who were bringing in certain parts of equipment and then installing that. So I would think with your intelligence, because you're a smart guy, I think that you can probably surmise that each of the construction companies didn't necessarily know what the other construction company was doing.
So they had
Secret
a
squirrel stuff.
secret, yeah.
Yeah, I guess having found this on the invoices, I'll sort of lay them out on a table next to wherever cleric is and kind of just point that out and go, looks like our murdered party didn't want people knowing exactly what he was doing in here.
Hey, that's not normally how you go about this sort of thing. As I remember, we had one of the labs not built but refurbished at Leeds. We just had one company come in and do the whole lot. It's 10 times cheaper than getting 6 or 7 different companies in.
Yeah.
He really didn't want people knowing what he was doing in here.
And I think with that, you do see the amount of money that was dropped on this place is astronomical.
Do we know how much he was worth?
Yes,
Yeah.
you do.
Did we all
22
get told
million.
that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, we all know that now. Yeah.
Oh, well, Twist hasn't come back to you yet. When she comes, all they're saying that Eddie might have told you, but otherwise Twist will
Let's
tell
just
you.
assume that it's filtered around the.
I am happy for that to happen. It
We're all
filters.
just. I assume. Yeah, I assume we're all just yelling all the time, extremely loud at the top of our voices. I think that's.
£21 million. It's like, what? That's a lot of
It's a
money.
secret. It's a secret.
Don't tell
Didn't
anyone.
want anybody to know. His wife was a stripper.
So,
Knowing that he was worth 21 million quid, is sort of, I mean, to have this built was not quite a drop in the ocean, but it didn't cost him that much in comparison to what he's actually worth. But it still cost a lot more than it should have done. So
And the fact that he's got a big house, he's got a nice house, but he's worth a lot more. He could have a lot nicer house. It may be that he's trying to not draw attention.
He's done it the wrong way round. He's got the nicest house in a worse area rather than the worst house in the nicest area.
yeah, and
But that might be to try to not, stand out too much in some way.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's basically, I mean, looking at that, he's hiding
Yeah.
in plain sight, but he's still not drawing attention to himself.
Yeah,
He's
he's
not
hiding
wanting-
amongst the people who will talk about each other ad infinitum, and therefore no
But
one
not
will
to strangers.
Listen. Yeah,
They'll
Well,
complain about each other to each other,
yeah.
but outsiders are outsiders.
And everyone's complaining, but no one's listening. It's perfect. It's
Yes.
a perfect place.
Yeah.
Twist,
Yes.
you are having a rifle through this guy's drawers. You find various things that you would fully expect there. Perhaps a diary. Perhaps a
She takes that. Yoink. Yep.
yoink.
Is it yours,
Um,
John?
It's not my diary.
Hey, he said it.
Don't you love it when they say it?
Every week we're going to get this done.
And pens, pencils, bits of paperwork here and there. After a bit of time, you actually manage to find a piece of paper that it essentially relates to the building of this of the lab. And what it actually looks like is that there was everything was paid through checks, cashier's checks, and wire deposits through the Cayman Islands. And account is actually called Potentia Holdings LLC. So that's-
Potentia, is that Potentia?
Yes.
Potentia Holdings.
Yes, LLC. Yeah.
LLC.
And there's a stub for a check that was actually from a solicitor by the name of Aaron Silverman, which was paid to one of the builders because to resolve a mix-up in invoices. So it looks like perhaps, like, you don't know what the situation is with regards to the building side of this lab yet. You don't know that there were multiple builders. But what you do know is that this Aaron Silverman paid personally from a personal account to pay a builder for something to do with this lab.
Okay. And do I come across anything do I see any sort of receipts or invoices for any chemicals or anything like that?
No, that's all you find.
Anything that's done. Okay. So she's going to take all of those and take them down to show everyone else. And she hasn't seen them all for a bit, so she's going to go and mingle. She realizes that her fortes and her strengths aren't this stuff necessarily. You know, she's better with talking to people and that side of stuff. So she's going to go downstairs. She'll probably try and speak to Icarus first, maybe Cleric. Well, she'll tell them all, but the two people that she thinks will probably.
So you
know
go
more
down,
about this
you go into the lab, and basically this lab is so fucking big that all of you are okay, just kind of like milling around in there. It is big. It takes up the entirety of this garage, and it goes back as well. So it's not small at all.
So she's going to hand over the diary. Is there anything of importance in the diary anyway? That if
You can flick through it.
Yeah, she'll flick through, but obviously she's not expert with that side of stuff.
I can go through it methodically, line by line, if we prefer.
I thought if she looks, then she won't find anything, and then you can look and then go, ah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look on page 1. It says evil plan.
Turn everyone blue.
I am, except for Gargamel.
Oh God, that's what this is. It's a Smurfs origin story. Fuck.
Sorry, guys.
Was he wearing white trousers when he died? Or was he or red trousers? Maybe he was Papa Smurf. as he was
Smurfing
old.
hell.
This Smurfette used to be a stripper.
Hang on. If you look over him again, he's not Smurf-like. Sorry, I'm going to stop. We have actual relevant things to do. I'm just saying.
So, after the Smurf conspiracy,
Smurf heresy, if you will.
Smurf heresy.
Yeah.
Twist, you go into the lab with the others. You share all of this information. I expect you're all talking.
Yeah.
And as you're just kind of discussing
the diary as well.
Cool, you're flicking through the diary. Roberta Kane, she walks in and she's like, Argus, I'm assuming you discussed each other's names at some point. So. Argus, here is the photos.
Has he come back in? Because he was out.
I was heading out to.
Oh, you were!
To
You were?
call.
Oh, yes, okay.
Call somebody.
Thank you for reminding me.
I think maybe there's I've literally
It's a
asked
crossover.
her to go get photos and made it like a very
Vibe.
pointed thing. And then as she's coming back in, I'm walking past and she's like, "Oh, I have the photos." And Arthur's just like, "Yeah, 1 second."
Brilliant. So she wanders
a
back
little
in.
rudely, honestly, with the phone.
She wanders back into the lab. Now, Argus, you are calling your friend.
I'm calling my friend Meg. Yeah.
Yeah. What kind of relationship do you have with her?
Meg is a very old friend. We sort of came up together as like young journalists starting out, and then Arthur kind of went in his direction, and Meg is now the editor of the paper they started at. And you read into that as you will.
Okay.
Yeah. But Meg is she doesn't brook any of his bullshit, and she's probably knows him better than anybody does. They've been friends for a long time.
So the phone goes. Arthur, what the fuck are you doing?
What do you mean, what the fuck am I doing?
Where
I'm calling you.
Where the fuck are you? I know what you're like.
All right, look, okay. Yes, I am where you think I am.
For fuck's sake.
Honestly, and you're not going to believe me, I'm only just hearing about this. This is what you call a coincidence, okay? And I'm actually quite busy, so I don't know if I'm going to find time to go and check in on the bastard. And maybe I won't. Maybe I won't, okay? You know, they know my face now anyway, so they won't let me anywhere near. If he's filming here, there's going to be a lot of security, isn't there? And I'm not as young as I was. And, look, you're worried. Okay, fine. I'll let you talk, because I'm just digging myself a deeper hole here.
Do you honestly believe that it's a goddamn coincidence that you have just, gone to Cornwall?
Yes. Well, I'm not... honestly, Meg, I didn't hear this morning. Okay? Something came up, and this is where I am. And then you text me out the blue and tell me that he's here. What, is he following me, or am I following him?
I was originally just trying to tell you that he was in the UK, but oh no. You have to
Look, I knew he...
be in fucking Cornwall.
Meg, I knew he was in the UK. Okay, look, I'm not following him, but I'm not ignoring him.
Do you promise? You know what happened last time.
Look, I tell you what I'll promise. I didn't come here to... I didn't know he was here, okay? I did not know that he was here. I'm here now, and I'm busy. There's other stuff going on, okay? I haven't read the article yet, so I don't know where this filming is taking place. And, you know, honestly, that's a lot of my day, going down there and trying to find out where he's staying, etc., etc., etc. So, look, No, actually, Meg, you know I'm not going to promise. You know I'm not going to promise. You know I'm not going to. I can't.
And she puts
I'm
the phone
sorry.
down.
Shit. Toys with the idea of calling her back and knows that that's absolutely pointless at this point, and that he'll try again tomorrow. Before he goes back inside, I think he's going to go back on the website that he found and actually read the article.
Okay.
And like, you know, probably a couple of these little articles and actually fully get, where is this filming happening? What's the movie about? What are they saying? Like, what's the buzz on Carrie?
So, if you would like to go back over to Foundry.
How do I read that?
You can expand it down the bottom. And so you can expand the window, and then you should be able to move that down and then read it.
Do you want me to do? Shall I do a dramatic reading of it?
Yeah, let's let's get into it, baby.
Okay, all right. I won't do it in the accent. I'll just do it in mine.
Plymouth, Cornwall, a picturesque town of Plymouth has been.
That is what I sound like, to be fair. Okay. Plymouth, Cornwall. The picturesque town of Plymouth has been buzzing with excitement as enigmatic American film star Carey Macht graces its shores to film his highly anticipated blockbuster thriller, The Reaper. Known for his intense performances and reclusive lifestyle, Macht's presence in the region has ignited a whirlwind of curiosity and anticipation among locals and fans alike. The Reaper promises to be a spine-chilling addition to the world of cinema, revolving around the harrowing pursuit of a sinister killer dubbed the Reaper. This nefarious antagonist has a chilling modus operandi, hunting down funeral attendees. The film's premise, coupled with Macht's reputation for diving deep into complex characters, has sent ripples of excitement through the industry. Macht, notorious for his aversion to paparazzi and his rather aggressive responses to them, has been in the public eye sporadically over the years. After a mysterious disappearance from public life in 2011, he made an unexpected return with the smashing success of The Long Road in 2013. The film marked a stark departure from his usual genre, delving into a darker and more violent narrative. As cameras roll on the set of The Reaper, Macht's aura of secrecy remains intact. Reportedly staying in Plymouth to maintain focus on his performance, the film star has taken measures to avoid the media glare. However, locals have expressed their excitement at the prospect of spotting the elusive star around town, hoping for a chance encounter. Macht's recent filmography has been tinged with controversy, with past projects being marked by closed sets, reports of injuries, and even the disappearance of minor crew members. These incidents have fueled speculation and heightened the intrigue surrounding the actor and his work. Nonetheless, The Reaper has garnered substantial attention from film enthusiasts who are eager to see Macht's enigmatic allure translated onto the silver screen once more. Despite his turbulent reputation with paparazzi, Macht's commitment to his craft remains undeniable. Industry insiders have praised his dedication to authenticity and depth in character, often resonate deeply with audiences. As the production of The Reaper unfolds against the picturesque backdrop of Cornwall, it's expected that Macht's performance will leave an indelible mark on both the region's cinematic landscape and his devoted fans. With The Reaper poised to be a haunting addition to the thriller genre, all eyes are on Carey Macht as he brings his enigmatic presence and undeniable talent to the town of Plymouth. As locals hold their breath in anticipation, one can only wonder what chilling depths Macht will explore in his pursuit of cinematic excellence. And putting the phone down, Arthur just says, "Pretentious twat," and heads back inside.
Lovely. Lovely. Before you do that,
Okay, yep.
I would like you to roll me an alertness, please. Roll me an alertness.
Ooh.
You get to roll.
Yay!
Woo!
Guys, first roll of the night.
Yeah.
It's only 10:30.
I know. roll.
Okay.
Roll.
Okay.
So soon.
Don't be shit. Please don't be shit. 34 under 40. Hell yeah.
Woo. Okay.
Yay!
As you are kind of going, pretentious fucking twat, you look at the picture of him again, and you kind of do a very, very slight double take, and you're like, what the fuck is going on with his shadow?
Can we get the picture up again?
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
It's gone on Foundries.
There you go.
Sorry, I know it's okay. Yep. I mean, yep. That is odd. I don't know what is up what the fuck is up with his shadow, John. It doesn't look right.
It doesn't, right? Does it?
It's like it's got its own face detail and
Yeah,
different
it's like
hair.
It's like he's
it
wearing
looks-
a big coat rather than a suit jacket.
Mm.
There's sort of it has a reflective quality to it for some reason.
Yeah,
But it's definitely against a matte background.
It's a tonal shadow.
Hmm.
It looks like it's gone kind of more
3D.
80s kind of Gary Newman.
I was thinking Max. I was thinking Max
Yeah.
Headroom.
Mm.
And with that,
Yeah, it's not solid black like it should be. And it actually looks like it's facing. It actually almost looks like the shadow's face is facing towards this way rather than the opposite to how it should be. It's kind of facing, sort of, in, and the shadow is as well rather than
Yep.
mirrored.
I'm guessing I'm noticing this and like this isn't some aberration in the photograph or the printing. This is sorry, not printing. I'm looking at it on a phone.
you are looking at it on a phone. Yeah.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
look at it and
I know, and I know
Actually-
pictures. If
Yeah,
there's one thing
exactly.
I know, I
You-
know pictures.
in fact, you know that this is from a series of photos from his last film premiere, because he very rarely gets photographed
Was
now.
that right?
So this should be sometime last year.
Mm-hmm.
So was this the film? Was this the film premiere that he maybe left early and I possibly followed him afterwards?
Possibly.
Or okay.
In fact, you know that you also have some photos of that same event,
Hmm.
but you don't have access to them right now.
What? They're in my giant SD card backpack, surely.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean, you could get it out and have a look if you like.
No, sure. Right now, no. Right now, I don't necessarily have all of my pictures with me all of the time. So
You're more
I'll
than
file
welcome.
that away for later.
Okay, that's cool.
I mean, look, if I've got access to them, John, I will check them out immediately. But
oh, would you?
we can also draw
Do
the
you not,
veil
does
for
he
now.
not have like
Let's-
the biggest Dropbox or something?
Yeah, probably. Let's move on for the moment. We've just had a
Yeah,
a moment of
yeah,
well, what the fuck?
I agree.
Would you like to have a look at the other articles, by the way?
Was that the other ones that we did on the
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some ones on the side of that article, like the fire in Plymouth, but Eddie would never notice that.
So just having a look at that again. So you've got just below that you've got mysterious deaths, rocks and hives. Couple found dead at Abbey Meadow residence, and you recognise that as this particular establishment
Yeah.
with the tent over it at this particular time. Oh yeah, there you go. And you got Riverside Business Park in Plymouth destroyed by fire.
I quite like the
Investigations
headline of local man falls downstairs, dies in lifter.
So, yes. So I thought that was a fitting end. And, unless you want to see what the Doc Martin Port Isaac shop launches website to cope with US demand ahead of final season airing. If that's of
I want to
interest
know
to
what this one crazy trick would improve your love life.
I
I'm-
suspect that
I'm
might
intrigued.
What would Argus go for?
I mean, Plymouth, right? It's Plymouth. It's Plymouth. He's in Plymouth. What's happening in Plymouth?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Let's have a look at this.
Oh gosh.
So
Somebody
there's-
else want to take this dramatic
Yeah.
reading? Or-
Yeah, is there anyone else?
do you want me
I can
to-
do it if you like, or Nick,
Make
if
it
you'd
big.
like to.
I can do it if you would like.
Sure.
Hand it
that
round.
sounds good.
Yeah, why not? So, Plymouth. A devastating fire tore through the Riverside Business Park, a small business area in Plymouth, on October 3rd, 2014. The incident began with a reported explosion in the early hours of the morning, leading to a swift and extensive blaze that engulfed the entire complex. Emergency response teams arrived promptly, but the intensity of the fire had already taken hold, causing the multi-storey structure of Riverside Business Park to collapse under the heat and flames. The fire, characterized by blue-white flames that reached an estimated height of 5 stories, proved challenging to control and prevent from spreading to adjacent properties. The efforts of the fire department were centered on containing the blaze and ensuring the safety of nearby businesses and residents. By 4 a.m., the fire had extinguished itself, leaving behind a scene of devastation marked by charred debris and structural remnants. Fortunately, no injuries were reported in connection with the incident. The response of emergency personnel facilitated the swift evacuation of neighbouring properties, preventing the potential casualties amidst the chaos. The Plymouth Fire Department has officially declared the incident an act of arson and has initiated a thorough investigation into the matter. While the motives behind the fire remain unclear, authorities are actively pursuing leads to identify the responsible parties. The economic impact of the tragedy is considerable. 4 businesses situated within the Riverside Business Park have been lost, resulting in substantial financial losses and the displacement of numerous employees. The destruction of Riverside Business Park, once a vibrant commercial hub, has sent shockwaves through the local community. As the investigation unfolds and recovery plans are devised, Plymouth residents are grappling with the repercussions of this unfortunate event. The city's resilience, however, remains evident as it looks towards rebuilding and restoring a vitality that once characterized Riverside Business Park.
There you go, and
I think he'll file away the. Information that the flames had perhaps an odder color
Blue,
than
white
flames should
yeah.
normally have. But beyond that, there was nothing in there that immediately leapt out at me as being. But now I know I need to look at actually genuinely look at the pictures as well, because you've now established that the pictures have actual relevance, which should be obvious, but it's not. I'm just not used to there being this much media.
we try to make it look
Staring.
lovely. Of course, there is a mistake where the headline at the top is for the wrong thing. So yay! I noticed just a moment ago.
Sure. I didn't
Do
even
we
notice
For the
know?
other one,
Do
yeah.
we know what? Do we know what businesses are in that retail park or in that business park?
We'd
don't.
have to probably find out, right?
Or
Google it.
Horizon?
Yeah, that could be worth tracking down.
Yeah.
Okay, and just for the hat trick, there is the details.
Oh, the yes.
The one related to our case.
Yeah.
Is there anything in here that wasn't in that dossier that we got?
Not necessarily. You see that Torres, the guy who found the body, he recounts a harrowing discovery, stating, "I found him laying face down in the driveway. He was obviously dead, as there was blood everywhere, and crows were picking at him." Pecking at him. A gruesome sight, marked by wounds on Greaves' face, neck and mouth, has left residents stunned and bewildered. The local law enforcement responded swiftly. Just saying that Amanda Griffin was also found in there. There was concerns about a potential pathogen. They evacuated the property and neighbouring residents. Tibble Greaves, believed to be about 60 years old at the time of his passing. He emigrated from the United States. Yep, there's not very much else. The main thing you kind of pick up from that is that Ernest Torres is talking to the press.
Sure. Which isn't necessarily, that's okay. He wasn't told not to or anything.
No.
And the media are going to
Also
try and grab somebody
the,
that's...
whole thing about the potential in the area as well.
Sorry, the potential
Pathogen.
Oh, pathogen. You know, it mentions about that.
yes. Yes, yeah, which is it was a kind of it was a working hypothesis at that particular point when it was written. You see that you know the picture in itself when it was written there was the tent around the actual building itself, but now that is down, and even Roberta Kane has said we didn't find anything, and that's her job usually. Okay. So, Roberta Kane comes into the lab and kind of looks back towards where Argus is on the phone, and she says, "Is he okay?"
I have no idea.
Fair
He
enough.
seemed a little rattled earlier. Something about work.
Fair enough. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm pretty rattled myself. Okay, so here you go. Here's all of the crime scene photographs. And she plonks these photos down in front of you. I don't have a blow-by-blow imagery for you, but just to kind of talk you through them. There are plenty of photos of Greaves in the morning. If I remember correctly, they're all time-stamped. They look like... Let me see. Just checking my timeline here. Yeah, so around about 7 o'clock, they start actually taking photos of the body. Over the course of about 8 minutes, you can see with the timestamps that the photos distinctly show Greaves' body disintegrating and then kind of solidifying. What you see is some photos prior to that. The photos that you actually saw, they are two of them are actually of the ones that you have.
Yeah, the hand
Up
and the
here.
goo.
Yeah, the hand and the goo. So those are two of the crime scene photos. They just happen to be ones that you have already. There are a couple of other photographs. There's ones slightly further away. You can see there's some crows that are actually just pecking at the body. You can see that there's various angles that the photographers try to get pictures of the Greaves body. You see that his mouth and his throat are very, very much pretty much obliterated. Is there anyone
Are they disintegrated, or are they just
No, they're just it looks
gone a little bit like a zombie.
Slightly like a zombie. They look like they've been as far as Eddie's concerned, if he's having a look through these, with your forensics, from what you can tell on the photo, it looks like almost like, I don't know, blunt force trauma or something like that, and it's ripped his jaw off. There is no tongue, from what you can see on the photo. You can't tell how much of it there is, but they tried to take photographs of his mouth in situ, and then he melted. Amanda Griffin, you see the photos of the interior. There's several photos of all of the little splodges on the floor. There's a couple of notes in there, kind of relating to, is this a kid? Is this something along those? What the hell's going on with this? And they did actually put out a search for a child, just in case. And they came back. There is no relationship with kids. They don't have children. There's nothing like that that's going on. You see that some of the splodges are around the body of Griffin. You can see also, you look at her face, and from what you can see, her head is quite twisted. She looks like she was in some extreme pain, and there is this kind of crust of blue which is going from her mouth across, and like one half of her face as well is it's pretty mutilated. It's like something scratched or cut or kind of poked or something like that. So there's various wounds. Without actually looking at the body in situ, or in a coroner's office, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell exactly sort of what's gone on with that.
Does she have a tongue?
You can't tell.
Would there be, with Icarus looking at these, would there be any sort of like occult or ritualistic significance to removing the tongue and these wounds, or does it just look like pure violence?
Okay. You've got very, very good occult. Same as cleric. Argus, you're not too bad with it as well, are you?
No, I've certainly done the reading.
Yeah. Okay. Argus, obviously, he's out in the hall at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not involved.
Twist has seen people have their
So-
tongues removed and had certain things like fingers removed, tongues removed in a sort of torture way. But
MI6. No. You are fairly sure that this doesn't necessarily look like a ritualistic thing. There's no patterns of sense, if you see what I mean. So usually within a ritualistic killing, or within some form of ritual that takes place around a murder,
some kind of method, isn't
you
there,
would
usually?
expect there to be other elements that like some kind of order. And there's no order. It feels like chaos. It as Eddie pointed out a little bit earlier, it feels like there was panic rather than there's somebody who is deciding to do this and then subjecting it to these people.
All right, Icarus will kind of just confirm that from that angle and go, this looks purely like animalistic rage and panic. There's no pattern, there's no logic. I can't see any connection to these wounds or this damage.
I would agree with you there. There's nothing else going with it. There's nothing. There's no. I mean, I've seen the aftermath of rituals. There's no paraphernalia. There's nothing here.
I would like to, if we go to the morgue or wherever they are, I would like to see if Amanda still has her tongue, and also like if they've done a post-mortem for anything else to do with her insides, being that she's the only person, if she isn't blue goo, she's the only person, the only body that we have as such, that it'd be useful to see what's going on inside as well, maybe in the stomach as well. See what was ingested.
Okay. Now, within this collection, she also hands you the police report on who Grieves is, and also Amanda Griffin. Now, having a look through this police report, you see that Amanda Griffin was born in 1990 in Bristol.
So young.
Apparently, she fled Bristol in 2007, and a year later, she was stripping in London and moving between various clubs. She has a mother by the name of Ophelia Tonne.
I feel your tummy. Was that?
Tonne. Yeah, I feel your tummy. Ophelia, or Ophelia, Tonne. So Tunney. And apparently she divorced Amanda's father in 2006, and was with a gentleman by the name of Ian Robson. Ian Robson was a known felon.
Do we know what for?
Apparently, he had a history of sexual assault.
Ooh. And Amanda left the year after, so I'm assuming something dodgy went on with him, with Amanda.
Apparently, he spent time at Belmarsh Prison.
Mm-hmm.
They lived in the childhood home in Bristol, and let's see. Yeah, that's that is what you get. So it's Ian Robson who is the other guy.
Yeah. Is there any other details there that you have? If not, can Twist give the give all the information that she's seen upstairs anyway to everybody, but also can she give the diary and all of the bits and pieces, invoices and everything to Icarus and Cleric?
Yes. Yes. So you'll share information among each other. You'll
I
discuss
feel like Twist
things.
had this diary, and then every time she's gone to hand it to them, somebody has said something else, and then she's like, "Oh wait."
Okay. So-
Wait.
Let me make sure that I've got some information for you.
She brings the stubs and everything else down as well to share with them, to be like, this is weird.
Okay. Okay, let's see. So, every now and again, you look through this diary. You find there is boring thing after boring thing. There is nothing of interest in this diary. It is just like, oh, I went to the hairdressers. Like, it's that kind of thing. Nothing particularly.
Dearest diary.
Dear diary. As an ex-geneticist, he doesn't appear to do an awful lot. But every now and again, you see there is a little note that just says Wells Delivery, and that's it. That's the only thing that kind of stands out as being anything of interest, and that is perhaps I don't know, every couple of months.
Can I Google Wells Delivery?
Yeah, you can do that.
Can you add the words Plymouth Business Park to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Googly. Yep.
Googles. You type in Wells and delivery and Plymouth Business Park.
I do.
I believe the name of the business park is I can't remember. Is it Plymouth Business Park? I can't fucking remember. Anyway,
Unusual.
the business park. Oh, fuck's sake. There's so much information.
It's Riverside. It was the Riverside. Business
Thank
Park.
you. Thank you.
If it is indeed the one from the article, then it is the Riverside Business Park.
I'm assuming that's what you're referring to.
That
Yeah.
was
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Let me also configure ownership for you guys. You have ownership of these newses. Now, you type this in, and you get hit.
Ow. Sorry.
And
Sorry.
you type this
Again,
in.
sometimes you make a joke and it doesn't work.
I find that a lot.
You're there, cleric. You type this
Yes.
in,
Mm-hmm.
and you get hit, and it says, Dinot, Belton and Wells, Detective Agency. And that is where we will leave it for this evening.
Sorry, it did not.
Dinot, Belton and Wells.
Belton and Wells. Okay.
Take that again, John.
Dinot, Belton and Wells, Detective Agency.
Okay. I've written that down now.
Brilliant. Excellent. Thank you so much, guys.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, John.
Thank you.
Oh.
Yes. I hope that
Thank God there's some professionals on this case. We can just go home.
Hey, honestly,
Some detectives, are they? Yeah, it's fine. They'll...
like, well done on some of that. There was some stuff in there that was, it's a little bit tricky in places. You're doing well, guys. You're doing well. No one's dead yet. Well done.
Hey, no one's on sanity yet. Hey.
No.
We've just rocked up at the house and gone,
Looking
You're gonna
around
go through all your
Stuff.
stuff.
now.
To be fair, though, we didn't eat the yogurt. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
That's
I
why we
think-
didn't die, you know?
Yeah.
Avoided that trap.
we
Eh,
didn't snort the blue
And
crystals.
honestly, like, what is Delta Green if it isn't just? And this is my first time playing this game, but I've heard a lot about it. And from what I hear, a lot of the game is just poking around in people's houses.
Yeah.
And I kind of look. It's pretty cool. I don't mind that.
Free
I don't
range,
do
free
it in real
nosy.
life, But hey,
You
it's interesting.
There's a kind of
Vicarious-
element about adventure games with it as well, isn't there?
Yeah.
Like when you're
Point and
like when
click.
yeah. So look at
Vi-
it.
vicarious
Yes,
burglary.
Use yogurt on shelf. Is that going to do anything? No?
Just his hand sort of
Don't
poking
go
around.
Monkey
in the-
Island on this.
sort of-
Don't go Monkey
I
Island.
touch this. No, nothing happens. I touch this.
Yeah.
No, nothing happens. I touch this. The
Use.
computer comes on. Ah, touch the computer more.
So, again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much. Yes.
We have had very, very little in the way of technical difficulties, so praise be. Hooray.
Yay. Praise
okay.
be to Cthulhu.
We could have pretended we were going back in a bit more 2014 internet or something.
We're not going to go dial up.
No.
Okay, I'm going to run through some very, very quick bits of info about what's going on at Actual Play UK. If you're cool to hold on just one moment. I know you're all desperate to talk. Okay, so obviously Thursdays, Delta Green. We are doing Delta Green as a campaign. This is not over, guys. Usually we do 2 shots. This is more than 2. It's probably 5 or 18. On the 18th and 25th, which is tomorrow, and then next week, next Friday, both Pip and Adam are going to be in Solemn Vale, run by the lovely Fiona from What Am I Rolling? And we also have James from Realms of Peril and Glory, which is going to be a joy. It's almost the completion of the Realms guys. Almost
I don't know if
everybody.
you've had all the women yet. I think
No.
there's a
We
couple
got-
more, isn't there still?
No, Liz. We haven't had Liz yet.
Liz,
That's
there
it.
we go.
Literally one person we haven't had.
Yeah, it's good. It's going well.
Soon.
And Who Lives, Who Dice as well. And then the 2 weeks after that, we have Drakes on a Plane with the it's a D&D game, which I'm assuming is going to be absolutely ridiculous. From what I have seen of all of the prep, it's dumb as anything. You'll enjoy it. So we've got the D20 Future Show, League of Stupid, 2 kobolds in a trench coat, some other heroes, and Natalia from Trolls of the Two Tunbridges. And in October, we've got loads more things. In December, we've got loads more things. Next year, we'll have loads more things. But right now, what I want to know is, who is Adam? Adam, please tell me who you are and where you're from.
I'm a person from places.
Thank you, Simon.
Nice.
I'm a person from a void.
Pip.
Also,
You had your chance.
Oh,
That was
wow, was
it.
that genuinely you cutting him off? Wow.
Adam.
One shot, don't miss your chance to blow.
Yeah, exactly. Adam, if you'd like to.
Yes, I'm Adam. I am the DM and host of Gunpowder, Treason, No Plot, our cosmic horror themed homebrew podcast, which is available everywhere. So if you enjoy some horror and terrifying justness, go check it out.
I always get scared of Ness. Simon.
I'm from Chaotic Neutral Games, and we've got many campaigns that you'll be able to find on YouTube.
Thank you. Very succinct. I like that. Pip.
Yes, I'm from Realms of Peril and Glory. You can check out a bunch of campaigns that we already have recorded and released on there. At the moment, I'm running Cyborg. Check it out. There's one episode left coming out on Friday, but all the others are available to listen to right now.
Hey. Natalia, who are you?
I'm Natalia. I'm from Trolls the Two Tonne Bridges, or TOTTB podcast. Is on all socials. We're playing Tomb of Annihilation at the moment. You can go and find us, go and listen to us, whatever.
Podcast places.
Podcast things.
Yes. Nick, there's no reason in like repeating exactly what it is, but who are you?
I'm Nick. I'm also from TOTTB, Trolls of the Two Tonne Bridges, playing TOA on pods everywhere.
Hooray! And I'm John. I'm also from TOTTB, Trolls of the Two Tonne Bridges, and obviously part of Actual Play UK. I don't know. Is there anything else that anyone wants to say whilst I set everything up to say bye to people? Is everyone happy? Everyone good? Are we coming back next week? We doing this?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, go on.
Go on. All right. Again, thank you, every single one of you who has been watching. You are all really lovely and beautiful people, and yeah, it'd be great to actually know you personally. The only way you can do that, of course, is subscribe. Press that button. In the meantime,
Hang on. Apparently, it's somebody's
yeah,
birthday
whose
tomorrow.
birthday is it tomorrow?
Oh, I couldn't possibly comment.
Oh, happy birthday, Adam!
See you tomorrow.
Oh,
Thank you.
happy birthday!
Congratulations for surviving another year.
Well done. You're going to be playing some horror tomorrow for your birthday.
We're joining a creepy 70s cult, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Come back tomorrow and you'll see what happens. Right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
It's not my diary.